Funafuti is an atoll on which the capital of the island nation of Tuvalu is located. It has a population of 6,025 people, making it the most populated atoll with 56.6% of Tuvalu's population. It is a narrow sweep of land between 20 and 400 meters wide, encircling a large lagoon 18 kilometers long and 14 kilometers wide. With a surface of 275 square kilometers, it is by far the largest lagoon in Tuvalu. The land area of the 33 islets aggregates to 2.4 square kilometers, less than 1% of the total area of the atoll. The capital of Tuvalu is sometimes given as Fongafale of Ayakus, but the entire atoll of Funafuti is officially the capital. Cargo ships can enter Funafuti's lagoon and dock at the port facilities on Fongafale. The largest island is Fongafale. The island houses 4 villages and community meeting places. The Funafuti Falagaupul is the local council, with the Kaupul as the executive of the Falagaupul. On Fongafale, the Funafuti Kaupul is responsible for approvals of the construction of houses or extension to an existing buildings on private land and the lands management committee is the responsible authority in relation to lands leased by government. Tauzo Alima Falagaupul is the traditional meeting house on Funafuti. Taushu Alima means hand of friendship and Falagaupul means traditional island meeting hall. There is the Vayaku Langi Hotel and other guest houses as well as homes, constructed both in the traditional manner out of palm fronds, and more recently out of cement blocks. The most prominent building on Funafuti Atoll is the Fetrau Lima of the Church of Tuvalu. Other sites of interest are the remains of Japanese aircraft that crashed on Funafuti during World War II. The airfield was constructed during World War II and is now the Funafuti International Airport, which serves both as the airstrip for the flights from Fiji as well as providing a place for sporting and other recreational activities. A major sporting event is the Independence Day Sports Festival, held annually at Fongafale on the 1st of October. The most important sports event within the country is arguably the Tuvalu Games, which are held yearly since 2008, with teams coming to Funafuti from the outer islands to compete in the games. Football in Tuvalu is played at club and national team level. The Tuvalu national football team trains at the Tuvalu Sports Ground on Funafuti and competes in the Pacific Games and South Pacific Games. The Parliament of Tuvalu, Palomino Tuvalu, is located on Fongafale together with the offices of the government departments and the government agencies, including the Tuvalu Telecommunications Corporation, National Bank of Tuvalu, Tuvalu Philatelic Bureau, Tuvalu Meteorological Service, Tuvalu National Library and Archives, and the Tuvalu Media Department that operates Radio Tuvalu. The police service has its headquarters on Fongafale. The High Court of Tuvalu is also located on Fongafale, as well as the jail. The Princess Margaret Hospital, which is the only hospital in Tuvalu, is located on Fongafale. Villages on Funafuti. The individual villages of the atoll with population, according to the Census of Population 2012 by Islet, Central Fongafale Islet Fakaifu, 1,158 inhabitants. Sinala, 1,207 inhabitants. Alapi, 1,029 inhabitants. Vayakus, 638 inhabitants. Rest of Fongafale Islet including the Tengako Peninsula in the north. Lofigai, 627 inhabitants. Tuan, 570 inhabitants. Tekavatoetoe, 650 inhabitants. Funafala, 50 inhabitants. Amatuku, 182 inhabitants. Funafuti Marine Conservation Area. In June 1996, the Funafuti Conservation Area was established along the western rim of the reef, encompassing 6 islets. It has an area of 33 square kilometers, containing 20% of the reef area of Funafuti. The land area of the 6 islets in the conservation area is 8 hectares. The islets in the conservation area, from north to south with estimated area in hectares: Tuvalu 3, Fualapa 2, Funafuti 0.2, Vasafua 0.5, Fuakia 1.5, Tuvalu 1. Access to the Funafuti Conservation Area is by boat. The conservation area is 15 kilometers across the lagoon from the main island of Funafuti Islands in Funafuti. There are at least 29 islets in the atoll. The biggest is Funafuti, followed by Funafuti. At least 3 islands are inhabited, which are Funafuti, the main island in the east, Funafuti in the south, and Amatuku in the north. Passages of Funafuti Atoll. The atoll has several passages with varying degrees of navigability that lead into the lagoon. The passes are listed clockwise, starting south of Funafuti Islet. The first 2 clearly separate the southern part of Funafuti Atoll from the rest. Davidarfonjones, with a least depth of 12.7 meters between the islets of Funamanu to the north and Funafuti to the south, in the southeast, separating the southern part of the atoll in the east. Davidarfonjones, also known as Ava Amelia, is a deep and narrow passage on the southwestern side of the atoll, 18.3 meters deep and 160 meters wide, separating the southern part of the atoll in the west south of passage Davidarfonjones and the still more northerly islet of Funafuti, and north of the islet of Vasafua. Davidarfonjones is in the middle of the western rim, south of Davidarfonjones, between the islets of Tuvalu to the north and Fualapa immediately south. Davidarfonjones, a deep and narrow channel, between the islets of Tuvalu to the north, and Tuvalu to the south. Davidarfonjones and Tuvalu are 2 neighboring passes in the northeast, between the islets of Funafuti to the northeast and Tuvalu to the southwest. Davidarfonjones is the favored entrance into the lagoon, although it has a depth of only 5.8 meters, and a width of barely 500 meters. It is in the north, between the islets of Pava to the east and Tuvalu to the west. Lagoon. The lagoon of Funafuti Atoll has a north-south length of 24.5 kilometers and east-west 17.5 kilometers, with an area of 275 square kilometers, making it by far the largest lagoon of Tuvalu. It is up to 52 meters deep, but has several submerged rocks and reefs that are coming as close as 6 meters to the surface. Climate. History. The founding ancestor of the people of Funafuti is described as being from Samoa. The name of one of the islets, Funafuti, means the Pandanus of Funa, the name of a chief, after whom also the atoll has been named Funafuti. The first European to visit Funafuti was Aunt Schuyler de Peyster of New York, captain of the armed brigantine privateer Rebecca, sailing under British colors. Aunt Schuyler de Peyster passed through the southern Tuvalu waters in May 1819, sighting Funafuti, which he named Ellis's Island after an English politician, Edward Ellis, the Member of Parliament for Coventry and the owner of the Rebecca's cargo. The United States exploring expedition under Charles Wilkes visited Funafuti in 1841. The U.S. claimed Funafuti under the Guano Islands Act from the 19th century until a Treaty of Friendship was concluded in 1979, coming into effect in 1983. John O'Brien was the first European to settle in Tuvalu. He became a trader on Funafuti in the 1850s. He married Sulai, the daughter of the paramount chief of Funafuti. Alfred Restio was a trader on Funafuti from July 1881. Thomas Andrew visited Funafuti in about 1885–86. In 1892, Captain Davises of HMS Royalist reported on trading activities and traders on each of the islands visited. Captain Davis identified Jack O'Brien as being a trader on Funafuti. In 1894, Count Rudolf Festetix de Tolna, his wife Ela and her daughter Blanche Agard visited Funafuti aboard the yacht La Tolna. The Count spent several days photographing men and women of Funafuti. The boreholes on Funafuti at the site, now called Darwin's Drill, are the result of drilling conducted by the Royal Society of London for the purpose of investigating whether traces of shallow water organisms could be found at depth in the coral, as a test of Charles Darwin's theory of coral atoll formation. Drilling occurred in 1896, 1897 and 1898. Professor Edgeworth David of the University of Sydney was a member of the 1896 expedition and was the leader of the 1897 expedition. Photographers on the expeditions recorded people, communities and scenes at Funafuti. Harry Clifford Fassett, Captains Clark and photographer, recorded people, communities and scenes at Funafuti during a visit of USFC Albatross when the U.S. Fish Commission was investigating the formation of coral reefs on Pacific atolls. The population of Funafuti from 1860 to 1900 is estimated to be between 280 and 300 people. Funafuti Post Office opened around 1911. Cyclones of 1883 and AMP 1972. George Westbrook, a trader on Funafuti, recorded a tropical cyclone that struck Funafuti in 1883. At the time of the cyclone struck, he was the sole inhabitant of Fongafale, as Tima, the Samoan missionary, had taken everyone else to Funafala to work on erecting a church. The buildings on Fongafale were destroyed, including the church and the trade stores of George Westbrook and Alfred Restio. Little damage had occurred at Funafala and the people returned to rebuild at Fongafale. In 1972, Funafuti was in the path of Cyclone Bebe during the 1972–73 South Pacific cyclone season. Tropical Cyclone Bebe was a pre-season tropical cyclone that impacted the Gilbert, Ellice Islands, and Fiji Island groups. First spotted on the 20th of October, the system intensified and grew in size through the 22nd of October. At about 4 p.m. on Saturday 21st, seawater was bubbling through the coral on the airfield, with the water reaching a height of about 5 feet high. Cyclone Bebe continued through Sunday the 22nd of October. The Ellice Islands colony's ship Moanra was in the lagoon and survived. However, 3 tuna boats were wrecked. Waves broke over the atoll. 5 people died. 2 adults and a 3-month-old child were swept away by waves, and 2 sailors from the tuna boats were drowned. Cyclone Bebe knocked down 90% of the houses and trees. The storm surge created a wall of coral rubble along the ocean side of Fongafale and Funafala that was about 10 miles long, and about 10 feet to 20 feet thick at the bottom. The cyclone contaminated sources of drinking water as a result of the system's storm surge and freshwater flooding. Educational institutions. There are 2 junior schools, the Seventh-day Adventist Primary School and Nauti Primary School, which has a roll of more than 900 and is the largest primary school in Tuvalu. The Church of Tuvalu operates Tuvalu High School. The University of the South Pacific Extension Center on Funafuti operates the Augmented Foundation program for sixth form students who pass their Pacific Secondary School certificate so that the students can enter tertiary education programs outside of Tuvalu. The Tuvalu Maritime Training Institute is located on Amatuku Motu. Transportation. Funafuti International Airport is located on Fungafale. Flights are only available twice a week to Suva, Fiji, on Pacific Sun, the regional carrier of Fiji Airways, Fiji's national airline. Pacific Sun flies ATR 42-500 42-seat turboprops between Suva and Funafuti. The airport code for Funafuti is Fun. There are port facilities on Fungafale. There are 2 passenger cargo ships, Nivaga 2 and Manufolau, which provide round-trip visits to the outer islands every 3 or 4 weeks and which also travel between Suva, Fiji and Funafuti 3 to 4 times a year. Constituency. Funafuti is one of the 8 constituencies in Tuvalu, and elects 2 members of parliament. Following the 2015 general election, its current representatives are Kausi Natano and Kamuta Latasi. Both were successfully re-elected incumbents. 2015 election results. Prominent local people: Satoripi Lauti, GCM-GPC First Chief Minister of the Ellis Islands from 2 October 1975 to 1 October 1978, First Prime Minister of Tuvalu from 1 October 1978 to 8 September 1981, Third Governor-General of Tuvalu from 1 October 1990 to 1 December 1993, Sakamuta Latasi, KCM-GOBEPCMP Fourth Prime Minister of Tuvalu from 1993 until 1996, Speaker of the Parliament of Tuvalu from 2006 to September 2010 and again from December 2010 to March 2014.